In this episode, we'll be looking at a 2-month update on this indoor Shubunkin pond, addressing some of my greatest fears about this pond, and adding a new species to it that is not a goldfish. Stick around. Welcome back to Stubbs Aquatics. It's been, 2 months since I put in this pond, and the fish have been in there for that full 2 months. Now, I did do a cycling for at least 2.5 weeks before they went in there, but the fish themselves have been in here for 2 months. And, well, as you can see, they're thriving. Their color is, well, it's amazing. Just as nice as if they were still outside. And I'm really impressed. I don't know, why. Maybe it's because of the quality of feed that I've been giving them, the variety of feed, or the fact that it's 300 gallons, and they got lots of swimming space, and there's lots of plants in and around the pond. Well, let's look at the pond itself. The filtration, well, I've got 4 sponge filters going, got an aerator going, I've got 2 internal filters going that are moving about 500 to 600 gallons an hour each one, and I've got a polishing filter going. I've got lots of filtration. One of the deals I made is that there'd be no external filter. That way there'd be no chance of leakage through the filtration. Now, as far as the actual pond, could it leak? I guess it could, but there's been no issues. See, it's basically a preform, and there's no holes in it. I don't anticipate there ever being any holes in it. So, in fact, it should not leak. I'm trying to deal with all the problems that you could have. The major one with my wife was it's going to smell. Fish rooms can smell. Fish, when properly not looked after, as in the water, can smell. And I can guarantee you there is no odor down here of any fish. With all these plants that are surrounding me, it helps purify the air, purifying the water, and, well, it looks good, smells good, and I'm happy. My wife is happy, which really makes me happy. But let's look around at some of the plants that are around here. I've got majestic palms going. Got one of my favorite plants, that being the bird of paradise. No, it has not flowered for me yet. I've got, pineapples. There's so many plants. I love them all. I've got parlor palms growing in and out of the water. Like I said, I'm loving this. I spend so much time down here. In fact, I answer virtually all the questions and comments on all my videos down here while I'm sitting by the pond. Currently, it's about 1 degree Celsius outside right now. So even though the sun's out, it's relatively cool. So, am I glad my fish are inside? You got it. And am I glad I'm inside enjoying what feels like sunlight on me? Yeah, with all these lights around me, it's great. It really helps with the mood. It helps with, seasonal depression. So, yeah, after 2 months, like I said, I'm truly loving it. The fish, as I mentioned, are thriving. They're growing. The colors are holding. Now, I did add a couple more large Shubunkins to the pond that were in aquariums, and I'm pretty much at my max load. But I did want to put another species in here. See, I don't have a scavenger in my ponds, and I wanted something. I don't have a real algae problem because the light that's in my pond itself is it comes mainly from my glorium lights, but I also have uh, internal lights in the pond itself. They're not overly strong, but strong enough, I think, to keep these low light plants going. That being my Nubius and my Java fern. I really hope that they'll take off for me. Uh, I don't see why not. They've been in here for almost 2 months. They haven't really gone crazy or anything, but I have noticed some of the root systems off the rhizome on the Nubius growing. So I really have great hopes for them. I would love to remove my imitation or fake plants out of here. I've only got two, and there's for aesthetics only. But I would, they don't really perform any function in here. So I'd rather remove them and put the live plants in here anyways. Just, well, it's beneficial for the water, beneficial for the plants. And to me, it looks a lot better, but that's just me. As far as everything else in this pond, how's it working out? It's working out really well. Like I said, I've had no major problems. I did add the polishing pump and filter here because there are some fines. Simply, well, I couldn't put all the types of pumps and filtration that I wanted to. Um, as I stated before, I'm not doing any canister filters. That would have really helped with the polishing aspect. And there's no skimmer. Um, that too could cause a problem. I could probably put a skimmer that would take stuff off the surface, but it's not the surface problem. It's the actual just fines. And I'm thinking that polishing will do that, and I may add some floss or filter floss or angel hair, whatever you want to call it, to the uh, filter boxes themselves, just to pick up that much more of the fines. But other than that, the water quality has been great. It's been easy to just siphon the water in and out, simply because the pond is raised a bit, and I've got a floor drain on the other side of the basement. So adding and removing water is no problem here at all. I really do want to put you at ease about having a pond inside the house. There has been absolutely no mold. Um, it's, well, I can't tell you how well it's actually gone. It's gone, well, almost too well, if you know what I mean. So I'm really happy about that. But getting back to not having any scavengers in the pond, I wanted something to deal with that. Now, I don't have any algae that I know build up in it, but I didn't want to take that chance. And there's always, kind of a like a film or a scum that can build in your aquarium or on the rocks or driftwood or whatever. So, I had to come up with what I wanted in here. I didn't want snails. No offense to people who have snails, but I didn't know if there'd be enough algae in here for them to um, eat, and I didn't want them coming after my plants. So what I did was I remembered that I do have some red Gara, and they prefer, a pretty cool water. That being the low 50s uh, to high 60s, that being Fahrenheit um, temperatures. And what better in a basement in an unheated pond is to put your red Gara. They're not an aggressive fish. They do like to be in small groups. They are known to be a bit of jumpers and are excellent climbers. In fact, I find them climbing up the driftwood all the time. But being the way the boxes are built here, as in it's overlapped, they can't climb out and over that. So it's just a perfect fish for anyone who ever thinks of having an indoor pond. Yeah, the red Gara. It grows up to be about 6 inches long, max, which is the perfect size for this pond itself. The goldfish are much bigger than the Gara, and again, they're not going to be attacking the long fins on my fish, which some other scavengers do. Yeah, they can be a bit territorial, but only with each other. So yeah, no worries about them. One of the other things I really love about red is, well, I wouldn't call them mischievous, but they're fun to watch. They're always into something, and they don't hide like like a bristlenose or other types of scavengers. They're just all over the place, and you just don't know where you're going to find them. You can almost find them, or you do find them, virtually on top of one of the cedar logs in there, eating some of the filament or slime that's on there. So they are a real interesting fish, and I know they're the doctor fish, and people use them uh, in spas to eat dead skin cells. Well, they're eating cells and filament that's in the pond, and that's what I want them for. Um, but like I said, they're a really cool fish and quite interesting. In fact, I may consider when I move all these guys out in the summer, I may consider attempting to breed them in here. That being the red gar. That might be interesting. I know they love lots of water movement and high oxygen, and there's plenty of water movement and there's lots of oxygen in there, so it might be the right environment. Only time will tell, right? But let's talk about the Shubunkin's themselves. Uh, as you can see, I've been feeding them some real high quality food, being some brine shrimp, which they absolutely love, and I mix a good high quality koi pellet and a goldfish pellet together. Um, that way they get the best of both. I did have some water lettuce going in here, but being the goldfish, they ate all the roots off the water lettuce and then finished off the plant itself. So I've got lots of water lettuce. I can, feed them there periodically, make sure they've got the greens, or I can put peas in there. I'm just glad they're leaving the plants that I want to grow in there alone. As far as my other plants that are growing in the driftwood, such as parrot's feather, it's done well. I didn't know if there'd be enough light in there for it, and as you can see, it's thriving. As are my pothos, um, peace lily, and what really freaks me out is the parlor palm. It grows really well right out of the water. Now, as I said before, I've got all kinds of plants around it, but these are ones that are growing in the water, along with some of the others, that I'm loving. They've grown so much in 2 months, and the root system is taking off. So the more roots that are in here, the better it is for the water quality and for the looks of it. I want it to look more natural, a little more natural, the better. I did put the sand at the bottom, and I think the fish really, come through in the colors with it. What I am finding is that the goldfish, they do like to pick up the sand and then spit it on the rocks. So I can never keep this rock clean. So you know what? It is what it is, and let them spit the black sand all over it. Makes them happy. So be it. Well, I'm kind of really hoping this has addressed some of your fears about having an indoor pond. Again, I highly recommend it. I wish I did this decades ago. It really puts someone in the northern climates at ease when it comes to keeping their goldfish inside. Obviously, a pond this size, that's only 6 feet long, 4 feet wide. Is it big enough for koi? No, not really. Could you keep other species in there? Sure, you could. Certain barbs, like Odessas, would thrive in there. Other things like denison barbs would go like gangbusters. Some of the other really cold water hardy, like gold barbs, would do really well. Anything like a guppy would thrive in there. And of course, zebra Daniels would do well, all in an unheated pond like this. Well, I hope, again, this has answered some questions that you might have had, and I wanted to do an update. And I'm going to leave you with lots of footage of how well the Shubunkin's are doing. Please remember to hit that like button. It does help tremendously. So please do that for me if you wouldn't mind. Think about subscribing and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Well, thanks again. Remember, keep on keeping on.